All right, welcome to another exciting battle report. Again, we're going to be using the 71 points that is supposed to be for the tournaments. We rolled for our missions. I picked attack, he picked defend because he's infantry and I'm tanks. And on the chart we got bridgehead. So bridgehead has it where I have basically the outside parts of my side of the map. It looks like a big U. And then he's got a box pretty much in the middle where he can deploy, and the objectives are really scrunched in together. Not much of a box to put those things in, so that restricted me a great deal of where to place the two objectives. And then he gets to put his people in the blue box there. He also has 40% of his forces coming in on either 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the dice there at the top. Okay, so here is Stacy's force. He has two companies of infantry. One has 2 platoons of infantry. The other one has 1 platoon of infantry and 1 platoon of 6-pounders. Of course, he's got the HQs in them and the universal carriers to go along with them. He also has a set of 25-pounders and of the 4 25-pounders and 2 17-pounders, and he also has air support with his Hurricanes. Alright, my force is not quite as numerous as his. I only have really 4 platoons. I have my HQ there at the top. I've got my Panzer IIs. I've got regular Panzer IIIs. And then on the right I've got up-armored long gun Panzer IIIs. And the HQ, both of them are up-armored long guns. And of course I got my Stukas. Okay, now the way that we have the battlefield set up is we have 2 hills there on the right. We've got a hill at the bottom, and then like cliff-like hills forming a V in the center, another hill to the left bottom, and then 2 forests there at the top. So the way he set up his forces, first of all, I placed the objectives on either side of the forest. That's about as far away from each other that I can get them. And then he placed his minefields on the upper right hill and in that V area. Now, if you notice, we've got these circles, and they're actually part of a CD cover thing. And if you measure the CD, Stacy found this on the forum somewhere, the CDs are the exact size of a minefield. So you just place the minefield where you want, and the CD then covers everything that the minefield would be in, wherever you would need to take a test. So fortunately I've got some clear ones, so I know where I can just go through and when I have to take a test. His forces that he put on the board, he's got his 2 HQs on there with a platoon each and 25-pounders in the forest. He also has 17-pounders lurking in ambush, and the rest of his force is in reserve. Which is 2 universal carriers, a platoon of infantry, and his 6-pounders, and his planes. So the way that I set up, I put all my tanks all the way on my left, and I was planning on using this forest for cover so that I can move in as cautiously as possible on my first turn, and then attack on the second turn. So on my first turn, I moved up. I positioned my Panzer IIs so that he could not set up an ambush with his 17-pounders in that forest, where he could still hit my other tanks. So excellent screening force by the Panzer IIs. Yeah, he could pop out his 17-pounders and take out my Panzer IIs, but then the ambush is sprung and I only lost at most 6 points. So that was my thinking there. I got to finally use my devastating bombardment template to set up my attack, even though I can't really use it. I just use it for the square in the middle there, but I never really got to use that devastating. I bought it for my 3rd Infantry Division for Italy. Never got to use it. I hope Battlefront finds a way that I can do something with it, but I'm not very hopeful. But still is nice to be able to just sit it there above all those units by itself. All right, I have to remember what happened here, but I think on my planes I only got one hit because I didn't range in for a while. He missed one save, and then I missed the firepower, so all he was just pinned, and that's all the planes did. So then on his turn, of course, he unpinned his forces, and then he was able to see out the side of the forest and drop a pill right next to my tanks. I don't think it did anything. It might have bailed some. Yeah, it bailed out one tank, but he got back in. It wasn't really a problem. Well, on my turn two, I thought I set up the assault very well. I brought in my regular Panzer IIIs with the HQ so I can get some re-rolls on counterattack, and had Panzer IIs there at the bottom of the screen to help support if I needed to get in there. I looked at his guns, and I think only the one that's on the left in the forest there, the left of that right forest, had a chance to, if I remember correctly, I was the only one that got to shoot in defensive fire. And I don't think that gun did anything, so I got in, and his infantry going back and forth, I'm wiping out his infantry left and right, and then my plan was, once that they were done, go in after those guns and start wiping out the guns before they can do any more defensive fire, and hopefully get those 25-pounders off the board, because Stacy elected not to bring out his 17-pounders while my tanks were behind the forest there. So I came right in, and gosh darn it, he kept hanging in there. I think he only had that one stand left, maybe that second stand there in the forest, and got one of my tanks to bail, and then I ran, and I couldn't get in. I mean, I could have really just wiped him out right there in the first turn, and that stinking infantry just would not die and go away, and I ended up having to run away, and now I'm in exposed position. I have my HQ and my Panzer III platoons sitting right there. Of course, what happens? He gets his reserves, and he pops his 17-pounders. He had to get his 17-pounders 16 inches away. That's the one good thing, that he had to put that over there. But his 6-pounders could just walk right on there. And the fortunate thing was that since they came on, they were at the moving rate of fire. So I had less shots coming at me, and the big shots were at long range. So I had a chance to get out of it. And guess what? I did. He blew up another Panzer III, so I had one left, and then one of my HQ, so I had another one left of that. So I could live to fight another day, technically. And since it's an HQ, I have a better chance of holding there than anything else. But that just pretty much wiped out my left wing there and put me in a very exposed position. Also, his 25-pounders were able to beat up a little bit on my Panzer IIs there at the bottom. And so things are not looking good right now in my position. I'm kind of I've tried to pinch him, and now it looks like he's pinching me. Now on turn three, I couldn't get my Panzer II back in, but the other tanks got back in. It's time to redeploy. I got my Panzer III platoon out of there, my HQ platoon out of there, and then the one Panzer II to try to take pot shots at the 6-pounders and stay away from those 17-pounders. And then redeploy my up-armored Panzer III platoon to set up an assault for next turn. And so I swung them over to that hill to try to get some decent shots, get some cover by being up on the hill. Also, my plane came in and actually knocked out one of his 17-pounders, so that was good. So now they're going to be rolling. Even though they're fearless, at least I'll get a chance to get those 17-pounders off the board, and that would be huge if I can get rid of them. So now on his turn three, I think it is, he gets his infantry to come on. He slides his 17-pounder over. Of course, they stuck. And his 6-pounders shoot at my tanks over there on the left and actually bailed out the HQ, while his 25-pounders finish off that Panzer II there. So now the Panzer II platoon is down to one thing, but at least he got the HQ there to try to help out. And I don't think anything happened to my Panzer III platoon. So right now his forces are coming on. He's getting reinforcements to try to cover that objective. He's sliding his infantry over to try to protect the objective that's right there in the middle of the board. All right, so now I set up my assault with my Panzer III up-armored, and I got my HQ in position to try to support and get some re-rolls in there. And wouldn't you know, I mean, he bailed out 2 of my tanks, and I only had 1 to just go in. So it was just like 1 tank, 1 swing, and kill it. And then he would have to, trying to bail it out, he'd come close, and just that 1 tank, the commander just kept going in and going and going and finally wiped out his platoon. You'll notice that there's a bunch of 25-pounders missing because the plane came in, took out 1 of them, and pinned them, which was huge. So that's how my tanks were able to get in, because I was able to kill a gun, and then since they were pinned, they only had 1 shot going. So my tanks got in real easy. I thought things looked really good, and then all of a sudden you start bailing out my tanks, and I started thinking, uh-oh, all he has to do is bail out 1 more. If I lose this platoon, this is going to be horrific. And the worst part is that he didn't even have to bail out that last tank. He just had to make it run away, and those 2 tanks would blow up because of the retreat. But he kept sticking, and not only did he take out the infantry that was there, but then took out the guns that were there and reconsolidated so that he was in position to take the objective. Okay, so now Stacy's in a real bad position because his 6-pounders are far away and don't have a great line of sight to anything but the guy that is on the objective. His 25-pounders are stuck in the forest, too far away to see me. The only one that's left. And same thing with the 17-pounder. It really is not in a great position. So he takes a couple pot shots and then moves his infantry to try to contest the objective. Unfortunately for him, he's only got 1 base that's actually contesting. The rest are supporting. So as long as he can keep that 1 base in the front alive, then he's good to go. Okay, so we had to fix the 17-pounder because he was shooting, scooting, and blitzing, and we realized in the rules you couldn't do that, so he moved it back and then did a regular move with the 17-pounder back there. These guys failed their cross-check. Infantry moved into the woods and are now contesting, and these guys took pot shots. The 1 bounced. It actually went on him, and then we moved it to him, and it didn't matter, it bounced. And then this guy over here failed it, but then he failed his firepower, so it was double bailed, and then I made my remount, so they're still in the game. So we're going to top of turn 5. Stacy didn't even let me assault. He I'm hitting them with machine guns with the Panzer IIIs on those guys. Got 5 hits, so 1 on each one. He made every single save except for the 1 guy that was in range of the thing. So now once he's off, the new rule states that the game is over and the Germans win. So did you take out any units? I don't think I lost a platoon, did I?
No,
so I've got 1, 2, 3,
they all kept
4,
rolling.
all there.
Third Reich, and none of them run.
Third Reich. Man, they're tough. You got to kill them. Not many on there, but you got to kill them. Did you do anything different, Steve? Well, pop in that 17-pounder.
But that's still not big because you still hide behind the woods.
Yeah, that's true. But I was still more exposed, I thought. Maybe I just would have run away. I think it would have changed the game, maybe not the result. But once again, good timing on my die rolls, except for that assault right here. That was a little hairy there. That commander just kept on going. But to possibly lose, if that guy ran, I would have lost 2 of these tanks, and then they start rolling to run away. But with my commander there re-rolling, you got to take out that commander. That commander is too powerful against the Germans. Any last words, Stacy?
No, I was going to buy me some new dice.
Yeah, they're not good. Although you make more rolls than, these guys were sticking every single time. Yeah, even though they're fearless, but it's the ones that count, the ones that really count that you didn't make.
Yep.
All right, good game.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.